right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Moments ago, an all-time record for the Cardinals, the MLB history made at Busch Stadium.
No 90-degree days so far this month. When that changes, and if we challenge any record high temperatures.
But first tonight, trains canceled. Amtrak stopping long-distance routes as nearly 50,000 railroad workers threaten to strike.
Missouri would be, I think financially would feel the effects.
What it could mean for passenger service and supply chains.
Good evening, I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. We'll get to that story about the trains in just a moment.
But first, new tonight, a St. Ann man is dead after being struck by two cars not far from his home. One of those cars took off, and tonight police are looking for that driver. The crash happened last night along St. Charles Rock Road in Breckenridge Hills. Our Robert Townsend got new information from investigators and is live near the scene. Robert, what did you find out?
Hi there, Ann. Witnesses told investigators the deadly hit and run happened just after 9 last night. Now, the Missouri State Highway Patrol tells me 33-year-old Brian Shed was trying to cross St. Charles Rock Road near DeHart Lane when a Ford F-350 hit him. Investigators tell us the 20-year-old driver, who wasn't hurt, stayed at the scene. Witnesses say moments later, a dark-colored vehicle then hit the man while he was lying in the road. Investigators say that driver got out of the car, looked around, and then took off. The victim died at the scene just a few blocks away from his North County home.
That's sad to hear that you crossing the street and then you lose your life, get hit by two cars, not only one but two. That's terrible.
Now, investigators do not know if the second driver was a man or a woman. Right now, they say they just want to talk to that person. They're asking anyone with any information to call Missouri State Highway Patrol Troop C at the number you see here on your screen. It's 636-300-2800. And again, those investigators tell us they will be walking around this area over the next few days, talking to business owners, trying to find any possible surveillance video connected to that hit and run. We're live in North County. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on your side.
Tonight, some Metrolink trains could be delayed while it gets back on track after a scary scene this afternoon. A train and a car collided in Washington Park, Illinois, around 2 o'clock. It happened on St. Clair Avenue. 20 passengers were on board. No passengers, we're told, were seriously hurt. We did reach out to first responders. We're waiting to hear back if anyone in the car was hurt. And new details tonight about a deadly crash on I-55 in Arnold. The Missouri Highway Patrol says a 69-year-old woman from Fenton was driving the wrong way. She hit a car driven by a 29-year-old woman from Fredericktown. Both women died at the scene. Deliberations will continue tomorrow in Tim Norman's murder-for-hire trial. The Welcome to Sweetie Pie star is charged with conspiring to kill his nephew, Andre Montgomery Jr. The jury began deliberations this afternoon but went home for the night. 5 on your side will be at the courthouse tomorrow, just like we have been from the beginning. We'll push out the verdict on the 5 on your side app as soon as it comes down.
Tonight, police believe a young Ferguson girl who was at the center of an Amber Alert is no longer in danger. The 12-year-old was last seen getting into a minivan with a woman outside Ferguson Middle Monday afternoon. Investigators confirm that woman is the girl's sister. The minivan was found in North St. Louis, but the girl and her sister have yet to be located.
Chasing 700 is sponsored by CarShield.
Well, a big night at Busch Stadium. Just minutes ago, the Cardinals inched closer to a division title with a big win over the Milwaukee Brewers. This as Albert Pujols continues his quest for 700 career home runs, while Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina also made some history. Ahmad Hicks joins us now to reflect on the history that did take place tonight. Ahmad?
A lot going on at Busch Stadium, Mike. In 2007, I was 15 years old. The Rams were here, and gas was $1.64 to start the year. A lot has changed since then, but some things have stayed the same, like Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina starting baseball games together. From start number 1 to 325 tonight, this was the moment Waino and Yadi passed Mickey Lolich and Bill Freehand's all-time record as battery mates. Christian Yelich will always be remembered here now for this strikeout in start number 325, and we'll always remember how Yadier Molina padded his career lead in base runners caught stealing. Former teammate Colton Wong should have known better not to test the GOAT. A fun night at Busch and a memorable one for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. We'll dive a little deeper into the action coming up in sports and show you more from this unforgettable night at Busch Stadium.
And one thing we know, Ahmad, since it was Bill Freehan and Mickey Lolich who last held this record, they were alive and played in the 1960s.
Right.
I mean, they won the World Series against the Cardinals in 1968. So this could be a record that will hold on for a long time, maybe forever.
I mean, do I need to provide any more context, Mike, after what you
I know,
just
he's
said?
a sports encyclopedia.
I mean, that record has stood the test of time for quite a while, and I think this one, it'll go on long after Yeti Ramblers and Adam Wainwright are done playing baseball.
It's pretty cool. A lot of history at Busch Stadium.
Right.
Ahmad, thanks. And less than an hour before that first pitch, more than 24 people officially became U.S. citizens.
Yeah, our cameras were rolling for the special ceremony happening before a crowd of Cards fans. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon was there, and Brent reports this hasn't happened very often at Busch Stadium, right, Brent?
You're right about that, Mike. Although naturalizations happen every week at the courthouse, this time the judge and the staff brought the courtroom to the stadium. Take a look. This is only the 3rd time this has happened at Busch. Once in 2019, then in 2020, and now tonight. It is also the most people to receive citizenship before a crowd of fans here at the stadium. You're looking at new U.S. citizens who represent 18 different countries. Their differences now uniting them through the spirit of now being a full-fledged American. This evening, I asked one of the 25 citizens who went through the long road to citizenship if it feels good.
So this has to feel good.
It does feel good. It feels like the culmination of something I've been working towards. This has become my home, and I claim it, and so it's nice to also be claimed by it.
And she moved here from Ghana. This event coincides with Constitution Day, which is coming up in just a few days, but it's recognized throughout the month of September. September 17th honors the signing of the U.S. Constitution back in 1787. Anne.
Brent, thank you. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has declared an emergency disaster proclamation. It's to help migrants going to Chicago from Texas. This allows the National Guard to help families get what they need, like transportation, emergency shelters, food, health screenings, and treatment. Over the past 2 weeks, Chicago has been a safe haven for hundreds of migrants. This proclamation follows a controversial policy in Texas that sends migrants to northern sanctuary cities.
Today, Missouri lawmakers returned to Jefferson City for a special session. Both the House and Senate quickly adjourned and plan to come back again next week. Both voted overwhelmingly to give most taxpayers $500 back in a tax rebate. Married couples would get $1,000. But Governor Mike Parson vetoed that plan. He's pushing a plan to slash tax rates across the board, giving the largest sums back to people with the most disposable income.
You asked me, it's a waste of taxpayer time. I don't think we need to be back here. We actually had an opportunity, if we wanted to give Missourians relief in their pockets, to pass a bill that the governor vetoed for $500.
Yeah, Democrats disagreed with the governor's call, along with some Republicans we talked to. But Republican floor leader Dean Plocher says they're taking Parsons' plan seriously and, at least for now, aren't looking at overriding his veto.
I don't think my job is to steamroll the governor. My job is to affect what's best for Missourians and respect what the governor is trying to do, too.
Parsons' plan was not original. In 2014, the House and Senate already put that tax cut on schedule to arrive next year if the state has enough money, which it now does. So his veto not only blocks instant relief, but offers relief that was already scheduled to arrive in the coming months. Debate on that tax cut is likely to start in the Senate.
Stan's settlement money shrinking. The tens of thousands of dollars the region is losing every day.
This is the most uncalled for, unprofessional way to try a case.
The judge in the Parkland school shooting trial puts the defense on the defense. The move that did not sit well with the bench. Staying hydrated. The best reusable water bottles to quench your thirst without draining your wallet.
Dry weather continues for the next several days over our part of the world. That may lead to some record high temperatures early next week. That plus what you need to know for the weekend ahead.
Tonight, a Chicago jury found singer R. Kelly guilty on 6 counts of child pornography and child enticement. That verdict came down after 2 hours of jury deliberations. Kelly was acquitted on 7 other counts, including all of the charges related to conspiracy. Kelly is already serving a 30-year prison sentence for racketeering and sex trafficking.
Heated moments today in a Florida courtroom. The defense for Parkland, Florida school shooter Nicholas Cruz suddenly and surprisingly rested its case, leading to a shouting match with the judge.
This is the most uncalled for, unprofessional way to try a case.
Well, Judge, you're insulting me on the record in front of my client, and I believe that I should be able to defend myself.
You can do that later. You can make your record later, but you've been insulting me the entire trial.
The state said they were expecting 80 witnesses from the defense, but they only called 26. The state will now prepare its rebuttal case and counter the evidence. The plan is for closing arguments and deliberations to begin on October the 10th.
Mourners continue to file through Westminster Hall as they pay their respects to the late Queen Elizabeth II. Some estimates say the line to see her could end up stretching for 10 miles. The Queen will continue to lie in state there until her official funeral on Monday.
Tonight, gas prices are a bit more manageable. AAA says Missouri's average price is $3.32 per gallon. Prices have been slowly decreasing over the last 3 months, but we're still paying about 48 cents more per gallon than this time last year. Right now, the lower cost of crude oil and a decrease in demand are driving down the price. But AAA also says prices could fluctuate as cooler weather approaches. $28,000. That's how much of the Rams settlement money the St. Louis region is losing every day. And that $513 million from Stan Kroenke will continue to dwindle as long as it sits in a low interest bearing account. Today, the Regional Sports Authority Board voted to seek a proposal on how to move the funds. The 11-member board originally voted in June to move the money, but never got a response, they say, from Mayor Tashara Jones or County Executive Sam Page. Until it gets approval, that money will stay put.
More than 1,000 new jobs are coming to Wright City. Our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal say a beef producer is investing $800 million on a new facility in Warren County. State officials predict it will generate $1 billion in economic impact in Missouri. Construction crews broke ground on Monday. The plant is expected to be fully operational by the end of 2024. Maryland Heights will start a construction project of its own next week. Ameren, Missouri is installing solar canopies at the community center. They will provide 500 kilowatts of energy, which is about enough power for 55 homes a year. This installation comes at no cost to the city. It should provide about 30 construction jobs and add more clean energy to the grid.
Are you drinking enough water? Chances are you're not, and a reusable water bottle might be able to help. But finding the right one, well, that's a tall order. Consumer Reports has the lowdown on the best kind for kids, the gym, and everything in between. Whether you're heading to school, running errands, or starting up that new workout routine, getting your daily water intake while you do it is key. But finding a good reusable water bottle can be tricky.
You want a water bottle that makes it easy to stay hydrated. So we looked at a lot of different bottles and a lot of different key factors, like whether a bottle leaked, how easy it was to clean and tote around, and how it handles drops and falls.
Easy to clean is relative. It could mean dishwasher safe or just a bottle without a lot of pieces with hard to reach areas. Take this Camelback for kids. It's completely leak and spill proof thanks to a straw piece that doesn't detach, but that piece is also a bit more challenging to clean. If that's a deal breaker, this budget-friendly Contigo strikes the right balance between kid-friendly and easy to clean. If durability is your main concern, look no further than these Yeti Ramblers. Both the 12-ounce bottles for kids and the larger 18-ounce size are nearly indestructible, keep drinks cold for more than 36 hours, and are super easy to clean.
The Yeti is a pretty solid and heavy water bottle, so if you've got smaller kids or you want something that's really easy to tote around or like take to the gym, you might want to consider something lighter.
For example, this Hydro Flask weighs less than a pound, keeps your water cold, and fits perfectly into most cup holders. If ice-cold water isn't a top priority, CR says you can save some money and score this 26-ounce sun-dried water bottle. It offers a silicone mouthpiece that's easy to drink from and clean. If you're cycling and biking, you want to make sure the bottle fits snugly into the bike's bottle cage, but not too snug, so it's hard to grab while you're in motion. A bottle that's lightweight and insulated makes the journey more pleasant, according to Consumer Reports.
Let's get to Scott. I know the warm weather will be coming back, and you talked about maybe breaking or meeting some records.
Yeah, we're going to get close to it on Monday and Tuesday, perhaps, of next week. That's when the heat really builds in. But what a great evening this evening. What are you looking at? You're saying, well, this is Art Hill. Look at all the folks coming down. St. Louis Symphony Orchestra putting on a concert tonight and doing so under the stars with great weather. 85 for our high temperature today, a little above average on the high, but this morning's low was down to 56, so a little below average there. Today's record 101 degrees. Records early next week are in the 90s, and so it looks like we're going to be challenging some of those perhaps. So far this year, we've had 50 days where we've hit 90 or higher in St. Louis. We haven't had a 90-degree day so far in September, though. That's going to change as the weekend goes along. Average yearly number of 90-degree days over the last 30 years, that's averaged 48, so we're already above average. We're going to tack on more. What we won't tack on, we don't think, is any more 100-degree days. We were above average on that with 7 this year. Remember, before we had the flash flooding at the end of July, we had some searing heat. Pretty quiet across the bi-state region tonight. Skies are mainly clear. International Space Station flew over around 8:30 tonight. A lot of folks saw that. We've dropped back into the 70s around St. Louis at this point, and it's a good-looking evening. And it will be another nice, pleasant start for us tomorrow. 70 now. Dew points are up a little bit compared to where we've been the last couple of days in the mid-50s, which means our overnight lows won't be quite as cool tomorrow. Even in the outlying areas, we're looking at mid-50s. Thinking low 60s in town. Skies will stay clear, winds stay light. And tomorrow, if you're doing outdoor projects, boy, if you've got roofing going on right now, maybe somebody's putting on siding, pouring concrete, the weather is great here for that. Still comfortable, humidity's still low. Most of the country is pretty void of any activity, but the tropics are getting active. That disturbance we've seen out in the Atlantic, tonight it strengthened into a tropical storm. The Hurricane Center names it Fiona. That is the next name. 50-mile-per-hour winds. Eventually, as it moves to the west, it could have an impact here as we head towards Puerto Rico. Odds are it's going to make a turn before it would impact the U.S., but something we'll be monitoring as we head through the upcoming week. In the meantime, our weekend looks pretty hot, not so steamy, and dry here. The focus for showers and storms will be to our north. They would be scattered there as well. For us, a few clouds every now and again, but temperatures will be close to 90 degrees for the high as we head into your Saturday, Sunday, on into Monday and Tuesday. We're creeping back into the mid-90s. Probably not enough to get us to a record, but awfully close. And then autumn will begin as we head towards Thursday, and that will be followed next weekend by some cooler temperatures, Mike and Ann.
All right, Scott, thanks.
Tonight, a potential strike by a railroad freight workers is stopping some Amtrak trains in their tracks.
Our Pepper Baker joins us live from the Kirkwood Amtrak station with how that will affect many of the stops throughout the state. Pepper.
Mike, and yeah, perfect timing with the train coming right behind me right now. But just to be clear, these freight train labor contract negotiations do not include, I hope you guys can hear me, Amtrak or the Amtrak workforce. But however, it does impact Amtrak's use of the tracks owned by those freight train railroad companies if in fact that those freight railroad services do end, which is why Amtrak is canceling those long distance routes starting tomorrow.
It was fun, I had a good time.
Eli Barker and Esnath Magumbiwa take the train at the Kirkwood stop to Jefferson City about 3 times a year.
We just hop on the train. It's a fun experience for the kids.
Station manager Bill Burkhalter says the fall season is a busy time for passengers looking to enjoy the scenic towns and the popular Oktoberfest in Herman.
The COVID is over. We've really gotten a lot busy because of the price of gas and some of the delays with the airlines and so forth.
Riders looking to go out of state might have limited options. Starting September 15th, Amtrak's long-distance routes are canceled in preparation for the potential freight rail worker strike from the labor contract negotiations.
That won't affect us too much except people that were going to connect in Chicago and go to Maine or something like that.
The state-run Missouri River Runner train is expected to stay on schedule for now, but could encounter staffing issues from the strike.
Because there are no dispatchers, there's no safety, we could have our trains halted, even though they're state-supported trains. So it's possible that all the passenger trains may stop.
Amtrak uses 21,000 miles of track owned by the freight rail operators involved in union negotiations. Passenger trains are affected now. Supplies shipped long distance could be next.
And you know, I work in an industry where we rely on goods moving from one point to another, and these disruptions in like supply chain are a big issue.
A possible freight rail service interruption could cost the U.S. economy $2 billion per day. 10-year-old Barker already knows the damage traveling does to our own pockets.
Airplanes are also pretty expensive, so I would just say that it's really worrying that this form of transport isn't going to be as accessible now.
Now, as of now, the Missouri River Runner trains will continue as scheduled. Now, we checked online to see the status of those trains going out from here to Chicago tomorrow. There is one Texas Eagle morning service that is canceled. The other one is a Lincoln service in the afternoon that will also be canceled. That's tomorrow. Live in downtown Kirkwood, Pepper Baker, 5 on your side.
A lot of moving pieces in sports coming up. History down at Busch. More big things coming to Worldwide Technology Raceway. And a sad update for the first scheduled game at the new Centene Soccer Stadium. The Cardinals, as we know, have a lot going on over at Busch, but we start tonight with some big news from the racing circuit. NASCAR announced their 2023 Cup Series schedule, and it will make its return to WWT Raceway next June. The area sure turned out to enjoy the Illinois 300, The race was sold out, and attendance was estimated to be around 80,000. Joey Logano took first place, edging out Kyle Busch by less than 1 second. The race takes place on June 4th, 2023. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will get underway June 3rd. Now, it's
Chasing 700 is sponsored by CarShield.
Now, it's hard to believe after 325 starts and counting, can't forget they're still going, that this dynamic duo will soon not start opening days and not lead this team on the diamond each and every night. But before we end this chapter in what has been a wonderful book, let's see if there's a fairy tale ending. The Cardinals, trying to win a division title, entered the game 7 games up on the Brew Crew. Nolan Arenado said 8 sounds even better. His 29th home run this season. Birds tie it up at 1. We showed you Yachty's arm works just fine earlier. He said his bat does too. A single to left field scores Donovan, and the Cards took a 1-run lead. What's a Cardinal highlight without the Golden Boys? Nolan flashing the leather and showing off the arm. Goldie with the pick. They make it look easy. It's not. Lars Nootbaar has been enjoying the show recently from the Cardinals legends. Tonight they probably enjoyed his at-bat. A solo shot, and not to be outdone, Pujols with a base hit to left. That would bring in another run. The Cardinals win 4-1. Adam Wainwright, talk to us, my man.
Usually when I get to the dugout after warming up, I'm very laser focused on my approach to the first batter and just trying to get into the right mental space there. But they were playing that cool video on the board, and I thought, they're probably not going to play any more cool videos while I'm pitching that I can really take in, and so might as well enjoy it for a minute or two.
The future of the St. Louis Blues looks really bright, and maybe that's because the keys to the ship have been given to 2 goal-scoring and highlight reel playmakers in Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. We'll call them the stepbrothers of the Blues. Separated by 1 year, Kyrou being the oldest at 24, each signed 8-year, $65 million contracts. The Blues went all in on those 2, and Doug Armstrong says it was a no-brainer.
We're building for today and we're playing today and building for the future, and having those 2 guys signed long term is the cornerstone of what we're trying to accomplish moving forward.
Obviously they're putting their faith and trust in us, and I think me and Tom are definitely ready for that. I think we've taken right steps over the past couple of years, and obviously now we're ready to take even bigger steps and bigger roles for the team, and I'm super excited for that.
Lastly, we end with an update I'm sure a lot of soccer fans won't be happy about. The match schedule between St. Louis City SC2 and KC Sporting 2 at the beautiful new Centene Stadium has been unfortunately moved to the campus of SIUE. The St. Louis City SC posted on their social media accounts that the stadium's internal power distribution system was affected by a construction project unrelated to the stadium. They continued on to say they are sad they won't be able to showcase the new stadium as planned this Sunday. And that does it for sports. Back to you guys.
All right, Ahmad, thanks. And we'll be right back. 9 Mile Garden is celebrating Mexican Independence Day tomorrow from 5 until 9. You can enjoy some Mexican food trucks, mariachi music, and Mexican folk dancers. You can also check out special margarita flights and free tequila tastings.
Fun.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Viola Davis is Jimmy's guest. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow. Thank you for being with us.